much he used to respect him. Potiphar. What's the story of this Potiphar? In the beginning of the Torah, his name was Potiphar. All of a sudden he became Potiphera. Another ayin was added to his name. Anyone here can tell me what's going on here?
Yes.
Today in this world, there are two different kinds of, there's big arguments. What's the arguments in this generation? We hear it everywhere. Gay marriage, legal, not legal. They have the rights to adopt children instead of a mother and father, two fathers or two mothers. Inherit his boyfriend. His boyfriend, he works for Delta Airline. Does he get VIP, he gets first class because he's married to his boyfriend? All this nonsense of Sodom and Gomorrah. They're arguing about it, and more countries, more and more states are adopting these Sodom and Gomorrah laws, which we find how it brings to the destruction of America, not only financially. Now they signed a very stupid deal with Iran. Iran is on the way now safely to their bomb. They fooled the whole world. Obama, the genius, already didn't know how to go down from the tree, climb a little bit too high. And Bibi, poor Bibi, is screaming to the wall, talking to the wall. And that's what's happening now. But there's an argument now. What's the argument? There's two different kinds of gays. There's some who are born like that. Since they're very young, they behave like girls. They play with the girls. They wear dresses. They have attraction to very feminine things. And there's some who don't show any sign. Not only they don't show sign, they can even get married and have children and love women. And all of a sudden, one day you find out, he changed his lifestyle. Two different people. When the Torah said that they have to get executed by stoning with no mercy and put them to death, which kind of the two the Torah meant? Only the ones who were born like that, or only the ones who became like that later, or both? The answer is, there is no difference in the Torah between one gay to another. The Torah said everyone who did an act of homosexuality has to be put to death. But we all know, it's a fact, you cannot argue with that they're not the same. One, all of a sudden, after years that he was married with his wife and children, and he was very perfectly normal, all of a sudden decided to be like this. And one never had an attraction to a woman. Tried. It could be even a religious person, could be Shomer Shabbat, sits and cry all day that he's like that. I know a few like that people, but there's nothing you can do. The Torah said the same story. If he would commit an act of homosexuality, also death. Now you come and say to me, okay, for the second kind, we know it's from a choice. The person is choosing to, we understand why the Torah says that he deserves such a horrible punishment. But the ones who were born like that, we never found anywhere in the Torah that the Torah gave a punishment to a person because of the way he was born. Tall, short, tall, wide, narrow, male, female, smart, foolish. It's something that's not in your hand. How all of a sudden the Torah gives a punishment to a person for something he was born like that? The answer is, this one that you see that was born like that, in his previous life he was the second kind. He was married and everything was fine, and one day he decided that women is not enough for him. This is Potiphar. Potiphar is married to the most beautiful woman in history, one of the top 4. What does a man wants more than that? At one point in his life, he decides to become gay. The Torah changed his name from Potiphar to Potifera, Pere Adam. The oral Torah say, why all of a sudden Hashem changed his name? From now on, he became something else. In his next life, when he will reborn to correct his despicable act, he's already gonna come with this desire Now, before you wanted to be like this, now it's going to be a lot harder. It's not, we're not giving you another chance in life to change it. So what's the mission of a guy like this, even though he has this attraction? Correct. Not to fall into the sin. Yes, can get psychological treatment. There's ways to get out of it. It's much, much, much more difficult. Someone who's born with this attraction than someone who chooses to do it. There's definitely nothing to compare. But it's possible. I made myself few over the years that were like that, able to overcome it, and got married. If you remember, one time I told the story that I spoke to one of them all night, and then a year later he called me up an hour before his chuppah. If you remember that story. So it happened a few times. Then I knew another hairstylist somewhere that left it and then was able to get married. It's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. But even if they cannot change, or it's too difficult for them to change, they still, Hashem expect them to live all their life without the sin. It's a very hard test. Just the same way he expects from a boy that goes to yeshiva or to a woman that goes to Bet Yaakov and they're unable to get married and they can get married, and because they can get married, because they cannot get married, they become 25, 30, 35, 40, whatever it is. It's also very difficult to live all these lives without the sin. No? Very difficult. But Hashem has high expectations sometimes. Sometimes Hashem has high expectation. It's very difficult. It's almost impossible. Yes. But that's the law. What can I do? I didn't write the Torah. But someone who would make it without the sin, that's what the Gemara says. One of the people that Hashem loved the most is Ravak, a single man that is lonely, alone, he doesn't have a woman because he's not married, and doesn't make sins. Because Hashem knew how difficult it is. And another year, and he cannot get married for whatever reason, and he still doesn't make sins. We'll see you next Monday, Bezrat Hashem.